Welcome fellow nomads, we've just arrived in Terminal Central Norte in Mexico City. We're now on our way to the ancient pyramids of Teotihuacan. So this should be a very great day, very informative day, so stay tuned. Alright, I just located the booth to buy the tickets to go to Teotihuacan. So let's see how much they are. Hola, buenas. ¿Un boleto, Teotihuacan?
Próximo se va en 7 minutos.
Sí, está bien.
¿Ida y regreso?
Por favor.
162 pesos.
¿Tarjeta está bien?
Sí. ¿Tiene tarjetas puntos o es así como...?
Okay guys, the tickets to Teotihuacan were 81 pesos each way. That's about $4.69. So a little less than $10 to go there and back. So not a bad deal. All right, we're boarding the bus now to San Juan, Teotihuacan. Hola amigos, Teotihuacan, ¿verdad?
Sí. ¿Cuál es el tuyo, el chico, el grande? Grande.
Muchas gracias. All right, nice looking bus. Let's get a seat here. All right, let's go to Teotihuacan.
Por lo que más tú quieres, hasta cuándo, y así pasa.
Okay guys, we've arrived at San Juan, Teotihuacan archaeological site. And just to give you a little bit of background, this civilization flourished from roughly 200 to 550 AD. And if you think about it, this was the exact same time that the Western Roman Empire was at its height in Europe. But amazingly enough, the two powers knew nothing of each other. So I find that to be quite fascinating. You could actually consider Teotihuacan to be the Roman Empire of the Americas, if you will. So the name Teotihuacan, it literally comes from the Aztecs who discovered the city in the late 13th century. This was about 800 years after it was abandoned by the Teotihuacanos. And when the Aztecs first came in and they saw the mammoth structures, they were obviously very impressed. So they named the city Teotihuacan, which means the city where the gods were born. That's what it literally translates to. So today we're going to take a tour of Teotihuacan. We're going to see some of the main sites like the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Feather-Headed Serpent Pyramid. So I hope you enjoy this adventure. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's do it. Let's go. Now we reached Teotihuacan, and as you can see, the price per ticket is 210 pesos. That's a little bit over $10 per person, and it's more expensive for foreigners like myself. If you look here, guys, this is called the Blue Weber agave plant, and this is the plant that they use to make tequila. So they cook the core within the plant. It's called the piña, and once the piña is processed, then you have tequila. Now we're looking at some more species of cacti native to Mexico. This here is the prickly pear cactus. Very beautiful cactus species. And then over here on the right you have the Mexican fence post cactus. Named because obviously it looks like a gigantic fence. Very cool. Now we are looking at the Pyramid of the Sun, everybody. This is the main pyramid at the Teotihuacan archaeological site. This pyramid, guys, it stands 65 meters tall. That's roughly 213 feet, and it has a base of 225 meters. The material used to build this pyramid is volcanic. There's a lot of volcanic activity surrounding this site. So the material is basically andesite and basalt. So the andesite is extremely strong, very durable, and it lasts a long time, obviously. These pyramids have been here for centuries. I just want to point out that small structure you see in front of you. That's called the Adosada platform. The Teotihuacanos used this for religious rituals. It's closer to the ground, so it was easier for people to see what was going on. The Adosada platform. All right, now we're walking to take a little bit of a closer look at the Pyramid of the Sun. So it keeps getting bigger and bigger as I get closer. Okay, now we're taking a very close look at the architecture. That's the volcanic rock, the andesite, the basalt. And back in the day, this pyramid would be covered with a solid white limestone casing. So it would look very beautiful. Then the Teotihuacanos would paint that limestone casing many, many different vivid colors, especially red. So it definitely looks different today than back in the day. This reddish volcanic stone you're looking at here, it's called tazón. It's a Nahuatl word. As you can see, it's very porous, very lightweight. And these stones here were used in the restoration of the Pyramid of the Sun. When these pyramids were first discovered, they were in quite bad shape. So they had to do a lot of restoration to maintain the integrity of the structures. This is a great side angle of the Pyramid of the Sun. As you can see, it's a step pyramid. It's not a true pyramid like you would find in Egypt. The Mesoamericans only built step pyramids. The closest example in Egypt would be the Djoser pyramid in Saqqara. That was actually the first pyramid ever built in Egypt. Now we're walking around the Pyramid of the Sun. I just want to give you guys an idea of the mammoth size of this pyramid. It's going to take quite a while to walk all the way around this pyramid, and it's very hot out today. But we're going to do it because you only live once, and I'm only going to be here once. As you can see here, the locals like to sell trinkets, souvenirs. I see some obsidian in there, obsidian-made knives. Obsidian is a volcanic material that's found in this area. Very strong, very durable. The Teotihuacanos, as well as the Mayans, used to trade that quite a bit. Now I'm on my way to the feather-headed serpent temple. I just came across this very cool prickly pear cactus native to Mexico. You definitely don't want to touch that thing. Look at the spikes on that. Wow. All right, let's continue on to the feather-headed serpent temple. It's actually quite far away from the Pyramid of the Sun. It says about 1.2 kilometers. And if you look, we have to go up these stairs, up and down. So it's quite the workout. All right, now we are about at the feather-headed serpent temple after a 1.5 kilometer hike, roughly. Felt like at least. So let's check this out. Now we have to head up quite a steep flight of stairs here. This is going to be fun. Let's give it a go. I really hope the feather-headed serpent temple is worth this climb. Now we have arrived at the feather-headed serpent temple. And if you look off to the left, there's a really cool view of the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon in the distance. Let's take a closer look. And in the backdrop there, you have the Cerro Gordo Mountain. The pyramids were actually designed in the shape of the mountain. The Teotihuacanos believed that the mountain represented the home of the gods. So the shape of the pyramids is by design to mimic the mountain. Okay, let's take a closer look at the Quetzalcoatl temple. Now we are looking at the feather-headed serpent god, or Quetzalcoatl, as it was called in Nahuatl, the native Aztec language. The feather-headed serpent god was the creator god, the main god. He was also the god of fertility and water. So he was definitely a deity that was highly worshipped by many Mesoamerican cultures, not just the Teotihuacanos. The Mayans, the Toltecs, probably the Olmecs. Many Mesoamerican cultures worshipped Quetzalcoatl. So this mythology has been passed down for generations, I would imagine. But the architecture is quite magnificent, the carvings. All right, now we're heading back towards the Pyramid of the Moon, and off in the distance, another nice view of the Pyramid of the Sun. Really cool. I just felt compelled to capture that image. All right, our next stop is the Pyramid of the Moon. We have a neat archaeological excavation going on here. Let's get closer, try to see what they're doing here. Okay, edificios superpuestos. That feels good down here. Look at all this amazing cacti dotting the countryside on our way back. Very beautiful. All right, let's continue on. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the feather-headed serpent temple. Our last stop is the Calzado de los Muertos. It means the walk of the dead, also named by the Aztecs because when they first discovered this walk, they thought that the kings might have been buried here. They saw very large mounds. So that's how the walk got its name. But those actually weren't burial sites, they were pyramids yet to be uncovered. Off in the distance, you can see the Pyramid of the Moon. Right? And once again, you have the Cerro Gordo mountain in the backdrop. The Pyramid of the Moon is roughly 43 meters tall, quite a bit shorter than the Pyramid of the Sun, but still very impressive. All right, let's keep going down. Now we've arrived at the Pyramid of the Moon. This will give you a better look at this massive pyramid. The Aztecs named this pyramid as well. When they first arrived here, they didn't know the original names of either of these pyramids, the Pyramid of the Moon and the Pyramid of the Sun. They gave these temples those names. But we do know that the Pyramid of the Moon was a major ritualistic, religious site. They held a lot of sacrifices here and things of that nature. Okay, after a long day of touring ruins, I'm definitely starving, so I'm going to try this little local restaurant here, Restaurante Campestre, and try some traditional Mexican cuisine. Here we go. I got 2 steak tacos with a side of rice. So this looks delicious. This is traditional Mexican cuisine. So I am starving. Let's dig in. Wow, what a day. We're back at Terminal Norte in Mexico City, where it all started. I had a great time today exploring Teotihuacan. We got to see some amazing architecture, some amazing pyramids, some of the most amazing sites in all of the world. So if you're in Mexico City, I definitely recommend that you stop by and visit Teotihuacan. Definitely won't regret it. This is something you definitely want to check off your bucket list. My name is Nomad Tom. I'll be posting more content in the future about my travels throughout the world, so I hope you can join me on future journeys. Take care. Bye-bye.